Okay, good afternoon, all of you. Welcome to the first session of your CBWM batch. So as of now, we just have 4 people: Nilesh, Swati, Deepak, and Sonu, right? So before we start, if you can let me know something about your background, because that will help me in understanding how should I take the class. So tell me your name. A name I can see, obviously, but tell me what qualifications you have. So whether you have done a BA, BCom, BSc, and which place are you from, and why is that you want to get into banking, right? So we'll start with Nilesh. Nilesh, tell us about yourself.
Ma'am, myself Nilesh Pandey.
Yeah.
I'm from Kolkata.
Okay.
I had done my graduation from BCom from
Okay.
Calcutta University in
Okay.
2021.
Okay. So you've just finished.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. So next in line we have Swati. Swati, please tell us about yourself.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello.
You need to be closer to the mic because your voice is not coming.
Hello. Now, ma'am,
Yes,
am
sir.
I audible?
Better, better. Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon, ma'am. This is Swati, and I'm from Dehradun, Uttarakhand.
Okay.
I have completed my schooling from Kendra Vidyalaya, Ordnance Factory, Raipur, Dehradun, and I have completed my graduation from DAP PG College. And now I have just completed my post graduation with commerce stream from the same college. And yes, ma'am, I want to join banking industry through through this course because I can relate as I said earlier that I am from commerce background, so I can relate. The topics are quite relevant to me. So that is why I want to go into that industry.
Okay, fair enough. Good.
Thank you.
Deepak, please tell us about yourself. Deepak. Deepak, are you going to tell us something about yourself, please? Okay, Deepak chooses not to speak. Okay, Surabhi.
Hello,
Yes.
ma'am. Myself Surbhi Khatri. I'm from Dehradun, Uttarakhand. I've completed my BSc Maths from Uttaranchal University, Dehradun, and that's all, ma'am.
Okay. So from maths, why is that you want to get into banking?
Ma'am, I'm always interested in this field. It's just because I don't like commerce and all, so I've chose the science stream. Then I go.
Okay. And we have this a very famous name, somebody with a very famous name, Sonu Nigam.
Okay.
Yes, please tell us about yourself. Sonu, which city you belong to?
Hello.
Yeah, Deepak, we can hear you if you want to tell us about yourself.
Ma'am, I am Deepak Roturi from Uttarakhand.
And
about my qualification, I complete my BCom degree in HNB University from Srinagar, Garhwal. And coming to my family, there are 5 members in my family. And my younger brother and father is a farmer and mother is a housemaker.
Okay. So what were your subjects in graduation?
Management, economics, and business law.
So you have done a BBA?
No, ma'am, BCom.
BCom, okay.
Bachelor of Commerce.
Okay, Sonu Nigam, do you sing or you just share the name? Hello.
Hello.
Sonu,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, tell us about yourself.
My name is Sonu Nigam. I am from Bihar in Lakhisara. My qualification is BA complete in 2018. My from Magadha University. My my date of birth is 15 January 1998. Yes, ma'am.
जियो बिहार के
Okay, fine. No issues. So let us start with our session. My name is Shiki Pandey and I'll be your facilitator. And now we all understand that this is a course after your graduation. So we all assume that you guys know to study, you guys understand. So I would require all of you to be little be conscious about your learning. So take the responsibility of your learning. If you're not understanding something or if you want more explanation, please be vocal in the class. And be also punctual about the class, in the sense if you have some assignments which are given to you, please complete those assignments because they will help you learn. Okay, so all of us are here to learn because we want to get into banking. So we are here to learn banking, and it is different than your school learning, because in school the most of the things you learned were not practical in nature, but here whatever we learn are the things which you require to work. So if you want to make a career in banking, it is very important that you are on top of it. You are honest to yourself about this learning. Okay. So with that, let us start with a new topic, or the first topic which we are going to see is the finance and financial sector. Okay. So finance and financial sector, we will see what are the roles of the financial sector in the economy of a country, and how how the capital is generated and how that capital is used. Okay. So I hope all of you have got access to your LMS. Have you? LMS में access मिल गया आपको?
Sorry, ma'am.
Have you got access to your LMS?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am, not yet.
Okay, please get in touch with your counselors because it is important. You have to have access to this because all your revisions and all your study material is here. You will not get any physical books or any study material. This is your study material. So please speak with your counselors and get your access to LMS. Okay. So in today's session, we are going to talk about the need of capital in an economy. What are the various methods of capital formation? How this capital is used, and what roles does financial sector follow in financial intermediation? Okay. So capital, though it's a fancy term, but it means money. For any kind of work you want to do, you need money. If you want to start a business, you need money. If you want to study, you need money. If you want to buy something, you need money. So capital is money. But if you look at, everybody does not have equal capital. So in an economy, you will always have a capital deficit sector. That means people who are in need of money, and a capital surplus sector. Capital surplus means people who have that money. If they keep that money just like that, it is not going to earn any kind of return to them. It's not going to be productive. So this money can be used for productive work. So there are various methods of capital formation. So for example, I want to start a business. What options do I have? So when I have to start a business, obviously I'll need money.
Yes, ma'am.
What options do I have to generate that money? How can I get that money? So just imagine if you have to start a business. If you have to start a business,
Yes, ma'am.
from where will you get the money? अगर आपको कोई business शुरू करना है तो पैसा कहाँ से आएगा? What are the ways you have?
And from the investors.
Which investors? Which investors? You are correct, but we have to understand it in a deeper sense. So, which investors? Anyone else wants to try? Hello. So if you don't want to get bored, I suggest that we have an interactive session. Otherwise, most of you might fall asleep listening only to my voice. तो अगर आपको अपनी आवाज भी सुनाई देगी तो शायद थोड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग लगे ये सेशन.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ, तो बताइए, if you have to start a business, what are the various options for you to get that money? कहाँ से आ सकता है ये पैसा?
Ma'am, if we don't have money, then we can borrow from somebody.
You can borrow, correct. Good, you can borrow, correct.
Yes, ma'am.
From where all can you borrow?
My friend, family.
Yes, you
or
can borrow from your friends, family. You can also borrow from the bank,
Yes, ma'am.
right? Where else can you get this money from?
I'm from share market also.
Okay, so you can ask people to be a part of your business. So we can't go to the share market because we are not big enough to hit the share market. But if as an individual we want to start a business, we can borrow, and we can also ask people to be a part of our business and issue shares. So capital, whenever a business is formed, capital can be generated by either taking a loan from the bank or general public, or asking like-minded people to be a part of my business. Okay. And if you go to the market and say, please give me a loan, nobody is going to give you. So it happens to the financial intermediaries, which can be various banks and various financial institutions. Okay. So banks and financial institutions have a very big role in helping the corporate sector to raise loan. Now, why banks should be bothered? Why the bank should, raise money or help corporates to generate capital? What is there for them?
Charge
To
interest.
increase
I'm sorry.
They accept some financial securities against that, and
The
they
voice is
charge.
not very clear. If you can be a little loud, please.
Okay, ma'am, they charge. They accept collateral securities against that loan.
Okay. So that it is a way for them to earn money. So they lend and they earn money, right? But a lot of times the government also forces bank to give loans to people. Have you ever thought why is it so? Why the government and the RBI ask the banks to give loans to various sectors or arrange for loans? So bank, okay, they are doing it because that's a business for them. They give loan and earn interest on this. But why does the government intervenes for asking the banks to give loans to people? You would have read, no? When in especially in the pandemic, you hear that this much package, this much package. What is that package? Package is about asking the banks to give loans to a certain sector. So why the government would be interested in providing loan to businesses?
Ma'am, the answer of this question is that the government wants to promote the companies and the entrepreneurs to develop their businesses in the society that will ultimately increase the
Correct.
the economy.
So when the bank helps a corporate to generate money, they will obviously start a new business. When they start a new business, they will generate employment. Employment. So we know India as a country is struggling with unemployment. Not enough opportunity for people to be employed. So when a new business develops, it creates new employment opportunity. When people are employed, they have money to spend. So for example, tomorrow you get out of this course and you get a job in the bank, you start getting a salary. You'll use the salary to buy new clothes, to maybe buy, eat out, or maybe later buy a house and buy a two-wheeler. So when you're doing this, you are again supporting the economy, right? So when you buy a two-wheeler, that means a two-wheeler company will have to manufacture a two-wheeler. When a two-wheeler company has to manufacture a two-wheeler, it will obviously have to employ people. So it's a chain reaction. If the financial institutions are able to develop the right kind of financial intermediation business, it helps the country also in the long run. So yes, business are benefited because they are getting easy money. And the government also is involved because it helps the economy to grow. So the overall well-being of the economy, or the overall employment opportunities in the country also increase in the economy. So that is the need of money in the economy, and the financial sector and especially the banks play a very, very important role in generating that gap. That is the need of the economy. So we know today Indian economy is considered as one of the fastest growing economy in the world. Two reasons for that. So we have been developing economy. We are still not developed at the US and the UK. So we are still developing, and we know a person in a developing stage develops more. So if you look at an infant of 3 years, you will see that in 1 year, he will gain at least 1 feet height. He grows much faster than a person in his teens. Maybe he will add an inch or so in his height, but he will grow at a much lesser rate. So that is with economy as well. India is a growing economy, so it is growing at faster rate, and governments also have been taking various measures to ensure that the economy grows. And the financial sector, and the sector which you guys have chosen to work in, is unarguably one of the most distinguished sector in the Indian economy. So I just gave you a glimpse of how the banking sector or the financial sector helps the economy of the country by generation of capital. So the Indian economy is growing because of contribution from high growth as many critical sectors, amongst which financial service sectors is unarguably one of the most distinctive sector of the Indian economy. So if you look at an economy, there are two major factors of an economy. One is consumption, the other is production, and both are interdependent. People produce because they consume, because there are people who will consume. And you would have seen this very clearly in the pandemic. In the last 1.5 years, how many of you have gone to a theater to watch a movie? Has anybody ventured out in the last 1.5 years to go and see a movie? Anyone?
No, no, ma'am.
And how many movies you would see before the pandemic? At least one movie every 3 months, maybe, or maybe more. I don't know. But on an average, you would see at least one movie every month or every 3 months. And what is the status of these movies? Are a lot of movies being released these days in the theater? Are many movies released in the theater these days? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, there are a lot of movies released in the theater. Are there many movies released in the theater these days? Is that so? Are there many movies released Okay, so just don't look at the last 1 month. Maybe there are some movies released, but over the last 1 year, how many movies were released?
Barely one. Barely one.
Huh? Few or many?
Few. Very
Few, ma'am.
Huh? Few.
Few movie, ma'am. Yes,
Very
ma'am.
few movies. Most of them were released on the OTT,
few.
right? So I
Yes,
thought
ma'am.
this movie example, all of you would be activated, but I think you guys are very boring. You also don't even watch movies, huh? What are the other things which will interest you? Eating out? Eating out? Does that interest you? So how many of you have been eating out these days? I'm not talking about a Zomato delivery or a Swiggy delivery. I'm talking about going to a restaurant. Do you guys go to a restaurant to eat these days?
No, ma'am.
No. Right? And similarly, you will see that not many new restaurants have opened in the recent past. Maybe there are cloud kitchens which will deliver food at home, but there are not many restaurants which will provide eating facility.
Yes,
Right?
ma'am.
Because the consumption has decreased. So consumption and production are interrelated. If there is consumption, there will be production. And if there is production, there would be consumption. So firms or companies are agents of production in an economy. Sonu, you have a problem with English. You don't understand English. नहीं समझ में आती है सोनू आपको? English, सोनू?
समझ में आते हैं लेकिन कोई हिंदी थोड़ा ज्यादा आती है।
हाँ क्या? क्या बोल रहे हैं आप?
दोनों लैंग्वेज समझ में आता है लेकिन हिंदी थोड़ा ज्यादा आता है हमें।
अच्छा. Okay. Anybody else has this problem?
No, ma'am.
No, you understand both the languages, no?
Yes, ma'am.
All of you understand both the languages?
Yes,
Because for
ma'am.
benefit of Sonu, maybe I'll use Hindi. So I have a badge where I have some people from the south and some people from the north. Then it becomes little difficult because Hindi, if I speak, the south guys don't understand. But I hope we don't have this problem here. Everybody understand both the languages, huh? Except for
Yes,
Sonu.
ma'am.
Okay. So I'll use Hindi also. No problem. So economy में दो factors होते हैं, एक production है और consumption है. Production मतलब बनाना, consumption is उसको इस्तेमाल करना. तो अगर चीजें बनेंगी तभी इस्तेमाल होंगी और अगर इस्तेमाल होंगी तभी बनेंगी. दोनों चीजें interrelated है. Production and consumption is interrelated. If there is production, there would be consumption, and if there is consumption, there would be production. So do you know of any company which is still manufacturing black and white TVs? कोई कंपनी है जो अभी भी ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट टीवी बनाती है? है कोई ऐसी कंपनी? हाँ कि ना? है कि नहीं?
No, ma'am. I think no.
Probably no, because there is no consumption. But in one point in time, there were many companies which were making black and white television because there was consumption and people were buying it because color TV was not available. Right? So consumption and production are interrelated. So firms produce because people consume. So consumption is the use of goods and services to satisfy a human need or want. It is the end use of production and also the objective of production. तो अगर consumption नहीं होगा तो production नहीं होगा. Sorry. Okay. So now people have money and they buy things, they consume, they use that money to consume things. But earlier it was not like that. In earlier times, people exchange things amongst themselves and that was known the barter system. I'm sure सबने barter system पढ़ा होगा स्कूल में, history में. Barter system is exchange of things. At that time, money was not available, so people used to exchange things. And I'm sure you would have barter system amongst your siblings as well. You know, so before you start earning, You have the barter system with your sibling, saying that if you let me use your pen, you can use my writing pad. I'm sure this kind of barter system will exist among siblings. So all of you understand barter system? Can somebody tell in their own words what you understand by barter system? Or what is barter system?
Ma'am, hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
This is Swati. Ma'am,
Yes, sir.
barter system is that process in which things were exchanged by things, commodities.
Yeah, there were no exchange of money because money did not exist, and even now in some rural parts of India you will have barter system where people don't have so much of money, they exchange physical goods for another physical goods. Okay,
According to their needs.
yeah, depending on their needs.
And
What would be the shortcoming of the barter system, or why barter system would not work?
I personally
Or
don't that particular commodity or thing that the other are giving to them. So this is the basic drawback of that system.
Okay, what else? So it's difficult to find a person who has the exactly same thing which you want, right? And you having the same thing which he wants. So it's difficult to find such a person, to match the needs. That is one shortcoming of barter system. Also, putting a value is very difficult in barter system. So you can't compare 1 kg of gold with 1 kg of potatoes, or 1 kg of apple with 1 kg of wheat, for example. So comparison becomes difficult, and therefore barter system had to be replaced by use of money. So barter system is a system where the buyer and the seller, rather than exchanging money, exchange items. So in today's time, when we go to buy, we exchange money. So we exchange commodity, we get a commodity and exchange money. So if you have to go, you have to buy a loaf of bread, you'll give money and buy a loaf of bread. But in barter system, you'll have to exchange it with another commodity. So that is what barter system is. Then barter system had its own shortcomings. So barter system was replaced by money. And China as was the inventor of money as well. So China was the first country to use recognizable coins. Sometimes around 1100 BC, the Chinese moved from using actual tools and weapons as medium of exchange to using miniature replicas of same tool cast in iron. The first minted coins in 600 BC, Lydia King Elytus minted the first official currency, and paper currency was also introduced by China. In India, we started with coins. We had coins of precious metals, which were gradually replaced by paper notes and coins. So paper bills were first used by Chinese, who started carrying folding money during the Tang dynasty. Now, this is the ecosystem of the economics. Economics is basically the study of how your resources are being used. So you will have various factors for that. So you have the political system, the economic system, the demographics. Economy of a country would depend on all these factors. Then competition, the technological forces, the legal forces, the cultural forces, and the general environment. So economics is not only affected by money, but there are many other things which affect the economy. So for example, economies like the US, because of the constitution of their economy, they don't have to struggle with unemployment. They have enough opportunities. They have lesser people and more opportunities. We compare it with the economy of India. We have a huge population and probably not so much of opportunity. So these are things which affect the working of the economy, right? So this is the ecosystem of the economy. Now, how does economic move, or what are the economic pathway, or how does the resources move? So the resources obviously will move from people who are in surplus to the people who have a better use for it. So in an economy, who will be saving money? Who are the people who save money? Or who are the entities which save money or lend money? So anybody with surplus amount of money would lend money, will have their savings. And if you look at in India, individuals or households are the biggest savers, because all of us have this habit of saving, and we are taught from childhood to save. So we have a habit of saving. But if we keep our money in only in the bank account, it's not going to earn us enough money. So that money can be used more productively if it is given to a business, because when a business is established, it will earn profit, and we are also going to get better return out of our money. So after whatever is left after our expenses is known as saving or disposable income. This income is employed for better returns. So this money can be used by the businesses to establish new business. When new business are established, so these new business can borrow. When new business are established, they will also generate employment. When employment is generated, people will pay tax, and the company also will have to pay tax. Okay, and this money will again go to the household, where the company would have employed people, and the company would be passing and benefit and intensive incentives to the people who are working. So this is how the economy moves. So actually the money which we have in the economy is scarce, but the same money keeps on rotating for the growth of the economy. Also, we can have exports, imports, investments from outside. These are the various components of investment. So if you have to study economics to define deals with use of resources of a nation for human consumption. Economics is a study of striving for the optimum use of resources. So we say this is very economical. What means that you are getting value for your money. So economics is a way to get the maximum value from your money. And we know the resources are limited. There's a scarcity of resources, and therefore we have to look at the best possible way of using this resources. Okay? So economics, also known as study of scarcity of resources. Individual must make decisions over how to allocate their resources. Now, if you have to learn economics, probably your mother is the best economist, because your mother, manages the house, so she doesn't cut on necessary expenses. But if she has, if she has little less money, she would cut on unnecessary expenses. So, for example, she will never cut on your nutrition or your studies. Maybe she will cut on something on entertainment, because probably that is not required, that is not very productive. So that is what economics is. Economics is to know how to use your money in the best possible way. So it can be individual, it can be businesses, it can be household, it can be companies, but economics can be used and is used by everyone to use their resources in the best possible way. So individuals also must make decisions over how to allocate their resources, because we don't want the resources to be waste. We want the resources to be used to the maximum extent. So economics can be classified as two major categories. One is macroeconomics, the other is microeconomics. Micro we know on a small scale. So microeconomics talks about allocation of resources by a company or by individuals, whereas macroeconomy talks about the government policies, the behavior of people, yeah, and the factors affecting this parameter. So macroeconomics is studying economics at a very broad level. Just give me a moment. Whereas microeconomics is the study of decision made by individual and firms in a particular market. So we know economics is a study of allocation of scarce resources. Resources are scarce. So even if you look at Mukesh Ambani, just because he's the richest man in India doesn't mean he will not use his money properly. He also probably, analyzes where should the money be spent. So that makes sense. You might have a lot of money, but if you don't use your money sensibly, it will create a loss. So economics is the study of how can the how money can be used in the best possible way. Right? So scarcity ensures individuals make decisions about how the scarce resources are allocated. Economics in turn aims to study why we make this decision and how we allocate our resources more efficiently. Microeconomics is the study of decision made by individual and firms in a particular market, whereas macroeconomics looks at economy as a whole to understand its performance, structure and behavior and factors that impact these parameters. So macroeconomics gives you the bigger picture, whereas microeconomics talks about the individual decisions. So macroeconomic takes a bigger picture by aggregating the resulting impact of these decisions on individual markets. So this chart tells you the difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics. So microeconomics studies the behavior of individual, consumer or firm, whereas macroeconomics study the behavior of the whole economy. Microeconomic covers demand, supply, product pricing, factor pricing, production, etc. Whereas macroeconomic covers national income, general price level, inflation and employment. Microeconomic helps to determine price of a particular commodity or factor of production, whereas macroeconomy helps to determine general price level. So microeconomic takes a bottom-up approach to study the economy, whereas macroeconomy takes up the top-down approach, right? So bottom-up approach means starting from the smaller thing and then going upward. Top-down is starting from the general level and then going down. So we have seen there are two distinct groups of the economy. We've seen two distinct functions of the economy is production and consumption. So similarly, two distinct groups of economy would be individuals or consumers and the firms. Right? So what will the firm do? What will the firm do in the economy? Firms का क्या काम होगा? We have seen now there is consumption and production. So firms क्या करेंगे? Produce करेंगे कि consume करेंगे? या दोनों करेंगे?
Produce करेंगे ना?
Produce करेंगे, correct. Produce भी करेंगे, consume भी थोड़ा बहुत कर सकते हैं, but main is production, right? So the firms will produce and the consumers will consume. Okay. So the consumers also provide the factor of production. So if a company has to be set up, it will be set up on a land, and from where will they get the land? They will get the land from Consumers. Then they will again employ people. Okay, they will get labor from the people, and
Yes, ma'am.
for that labor, they will have to pay the money. So those are the factors of production. So factors of productions are provided by the individual. Now for that factor of production, obviously the firms provide them with certain kind of benefits, which is wages, rents, and interest. So two distinct groups of economy, the individuals and the firms. And the individuals provide the factor of production, and the firm provide the factor and provide the income.
Excuse me, ma'am.
So yeah,
मैम एक्चुअली यहाँ पे जो फैक्टर्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन मेंशन है उसमें एक और ऐड हमने जो उसमें पढ़ा था तो उसमें ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेज भी human resources are also there in
correct,
the
correct.
factors
Yeah.
of production.
Yeah, so this is an older definition. So we were only at that time, probably, you know, the human resources were only labor. But in today's time, you need people to even write your software program or manage your HR function. So yes, now labor, one subdivision can be your human resources. Correct, correct. So this is where, like, we are talking about olden times when you know, it was this thing, it was more about physical labor, but yes, now human resources is also a factor of production. You will not have any production without the correct human resources. Okay. Yeah, so they are the provider of basic factors of production in economy, land, labor, and capital. And in return, they get the income, which is through wages, rent, and interest. And the firms, they combine the factors of production to produce output for the consumption of individual or consumers in return of profit. So factors of production are land, labor, and capital, and which produce income through rent, wages, and interest. So we have seen, when these firms need money, what do? They borrow. If they borrow money, they will have to pay interest on the borrowed money. When they employ people, they will have to pay wages. When they rent out any premises, they will have to pay rent. So the firms can generate income either through rent, wages, or interest. So I don't know, in Dehradun also, Dehradun in the last few years has developed a lot. So you guys have seen how it generates employment and how it generates income for people. So for example, jahan pe, you know, especially in Uttarakhand, there are a lot of tourist destinations. You know, when tourists come to spend time, so what happens? A lot of people have converted their house into a guest house or a hotel where they can earn rent, right? And then local people get employment in those hotels and they generate wages. For making that hotel, probably they would have taken a loan from the bank, and then that will generate interest. Okay. And it is very, very easy to see in any developing city. You know, you can see how factors of income increase when the economy is developing. So to conclude, the factors of productions are used to produce. The factor of production are land, labor, and capital. Without this, no business can flourish or no business can run. So you need land, labor, and capital. Now, however, in today's time, if you look at this definition of factors of production is also a little outdated, because in today's time, you can have businesses which don't need land. Any business you can think of which don't need land in today's time, especially. So if you look at, the Ola, Uber, Swiggy, Zomato,
Yes.
they don't even need to have a proper kind of office. They can operate everything digitally. Yeah. So this is a little old definition, but still. So land, labor, and capital are the factors of production and which increase the economic activity. So I was giving you an example of Dehradun and other hill stations which have grown because of the opportunities for tourism. So without sufficient capital, and for everything money is required, we know that. The capital brings together all the other factors of production and thereby create a conducive environment for economic activity to take place. Without sufficient capital, economic activity cannot start, and even if it starts, will not be able to sustain for long.
Yes.
For the progress of overall economy, availability of sufficient capital is of utmost importance. So money is required for everything, whether you want to start a business or for the development of the country, capital is very, very important. So let us just check how much we have understood. So what are the different factors of production contributed by individuals? Hello.
Hello.
What are the various factors of production?
Factors of production that we have discussed are land, labor,
And
capital.
Correct. Correct. So the factor of production contributed by the individual is land, labor, and capital. So which of the following statement is true? बताइए, which of them is true?
First
first one is true and second.
Okay. So production is an activity where factors are combined to generate output to satisfy the needs and wants of individual by way of consumption. Correct. A need is something essential for survival, while wants are good to have, not essential for survival. Correct. However, macroeconomics is not the study of decision made by individual. It's the other way around, right? Microeconomy is the study of decisions made by individual, whereas macroeconomy is the study of decision made by the study of economy as a whole to understand its performance. Yeah. The last one is definitely wrong. Just to summarize what we have learned till now, we have seen that production and consumption are the basic building blocks of economic activity. There are two major branches of economy, which is microeconomics, which deals with economic decision at individual firm level, and macroeconomic, which deals with that at overall economy level. Factor of production such as land, labor, and capital are combined to achieve production of goods and services. And capital is the key factor which helps bring together the other factors and then thus initiate and sustain economic activity. So economic activity will happen only when there is sufficient capital and the other factors of production. So we have probably all of us have witnessed it. The last time when the lockdown happened, what happened to the economy? What happened to the economy? Did you guys read the newspaper? क्या हुआ था इकोनॉमी में?
गिर गई थी मैम.
Decrement
economy slided because economic activity decreased. So I don't know about you guys. I'm sure all of you would have also experienced the same. तो हमारा खुद का कंजम्पशन सब चीज का कम हो गया था. We were only spending money on essentials, especially in the month of March when the lockdown was announced for the first time. All of us had reduced consumption of unnecessary things. We were only consuming what was essential, right?
Yes.
Okay. So factors of production such as land, labor, and capital are combined to achieve production of goods and services. And capital is the key. Money is the key. Without money, nothing can happen. Okay. Now let us look at the methods of capital formation. So we have basically seen capital is the money required to run a business or the money, and the money can come from the bank as a loan. It can also come as a loan from others, and you can also ask people to invest in your business. That means they can be equal partners in your business, and that is money through equity. So as an individual, if you have extra money, what will you do with it? You will want to invest. You can invest in equity or you can invest in debt. So debt is a kind of loan where equity is equal partnership in the business. So debt is a kind of loan where, but when you are buying equity, you are buying, you are becoming a part of the business. Also, debt can be short term or it can be long term. So we have two different kind of financial market. One is short term market and the other is long term market. Okay. So if you want to generate money for any business, you can borrow from the bank, or for short term in the money market, or in the long term. Then you can also buy securities like debt and equity. So I've explained debt is a loan, equity is a partnership in the business. So suppose you are to spend or invest, you lack the funds to take advantage. What will you do? You will borrow, or you will ask people to invest in equity. And directly, if an individual wants to do it, it's not possible. So if I go and stand in the marketplace, I saying that I want to run a business, please give me money. Nobody is going to give it to me. Okay. So here where the financial institutions or the bank come into picture. Bank act as an intermediary between the people who have surplus of money and the people who are in deficit. Right. So this process is also known as financial intermediation, or acting as an intermediary between people with surplus money and people who are in need of this money. Right. So in an economy, you will have people who have the money, and then you have the people who need this money. But direct transaction is not possible. The transaction will happen through a bank or a financial institution which will act as an intermediary. Intermediary matlab a person in between. So the bank or the financial institutions act as intermediary between people who are in surplus of money and people who are in deficit. And that's the money, how the money moves. Also, the money will move when people are consuming. So, for example, it is say a restaurant business. We will buy, money will move from us to the seller, and if we are working there, then the money will flow back as our rent or income to us. However, we can also invest through a bank where surplus money is kept with the bank and this is given to the seller. Seller or this person who is in deficit money sets up a business and he generates profit and probably pays that interest to the bank and the bank pays it to us. So this is how the money moves in an economy. So that is
Excuse me,
why,
ma'am.
yes.
Please repeat it again.
Okay. So we are saying that in an economy, the money needs to move. So we've seen that money moves from people who have it to people who want it, right? So we've seen in as a factor of production, the money moves, the money moves from the consumer to the producer. So if you buy something, you will have to pay for that service, no? So money will move from you to the producer, right? And there is another way also. There are people who are in surplus of money. They want their money to generate better returns. But if you have to generate better returns, then you will have to use that money effectively. तो आपके पास कोई बिजनेस आइडिया नहीं है, आप बिजनेस नहीं कर सकते हो, पर there are people who can do business, no? So what you can do is you can invest in those businesses and generate money from that as well. So this is what the bank does. So bank, takes money from people who are in surplus. जिनके पास पैसा है उनसे पैसा लेता है बैंक, और जिनको जरूरत है उनको ये पैसा देता है, right? अब ये लोग अपना बिजनेस शुरू करते हैं, they earn some profit and then that profit is shared. Also the money moves from buyer to seller. तो आप जो भी कोई भी सामान खरीद रहे हो, the money is moving from you to the seller. Okay, and seller also might employ you and then the money will move. So money is the same, but it keeps on moving from one person to another through various ways. So factor consumption में भी move होता है money, और investment में भी money move होता है. So the flow of money is vital for economic growth and development. Money moves in form of transaction. So buyer pay for their consumption and money moves to the seller. That's what I told you. आपने कोई चीज खरीदी तो money would move from you to the seller. Also, banks are important channels for flow and accounting of money. So अगर आप देखो, what is the function of a bank? Have you ever thought, like all of you say that you want to work for a bank? What is the function of a bank? What does a bank do? क्या करता है बैंक? क्या काम है बैंक का?
Bank, the functions of banks are they accept deposits and
Correct.
loan.
Yeah.
This is the basic function of
That yeah. So the basic function of the bank defined by the Banking Regulation Act is to borrow money for the further purpose of lending. So we all know that. Good. Okay. But why does the bank lend? So this question I asked in the beginning of the session itself. The bank lends for making profit, yes, all right. But bank also lends for the development of the economy, right? No? If businesses don't have money, if you don't have money to run a business, there will be no movement of money. Huh? So banks and you will usually we are not very comfortable in directly investing in a business, right? So we do it through a bank. So banks are important channels for flow and accounting of money, and that is what is the role of bank in the economy of a country, right? So we have people who have some extra money who are looking for investment opportunities, and then we have customers who are in need of funds, right? So obviously the money from people who are in surplus needs to move to people who are in deficit. Only then there will be economic growth, and there is where the financial institutions facilitate the transaction. So your banks and other financial institutions act as intermediary between people who have surplus of money and people who are in need of funds. So it should be very clear from this diagram, the money moving from people who are in surplus to people who are in deficit, right? Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Now money definitely can move from the bank, like through the bank, but there are other ways of also channelizing the money. So when the company is starting a business, so जैसे हमने देखा, when I asked you, how will you start a business? So one way of starting a business is taking a loan. The other way is asking like-minded people to be a part of your business. Okay, so that option is also available to companies. So if a company wants to expand or they want to come up with a new business, they can raise money in form of debt. That is a loan, या उधार, या फिर they can ask people to be a part of business, right? So companies can raise money through debt or equity. Okay, and this is done in the financial markets. Financial markets can be both short term and long term. Short term financial market is known as money market, whereas long term is known as capital market. Capital is anyways long term. No, we talk about capital expenditure, for example, or revenue expenditure. Revenue is expenditure in the near future, whereas capital expenditure is something which will help you in future, right? So capital market is a market for raising long term funds. तो funds आप debt की तरह भी raise कर सकते हो. Debt मतलब loan, या फिर equity, which is a equal partnership in the business. So capital market can be classified as debt or equity. Debt can be short term or long term, or equity in shares. So do we now understand the difference between debt and equity? सोनू, आपको समझ में आया debt और equity के बीच में क्या difference है? क्या difference है debt और equity के बीच में?
हेलो,
हाँ बोलिए, सुनाई दे रहा है आपकी आवाज. क्या डिफरेंस है डेट और इक्विटी के बीच में? दीपक, will you like to answer this question? इक्विटी और डेट में क्या डिफरेंस है?
मैम इसमें तो शॉर्ट टर्म लॉन्ग टर्म के है। इसमें तो शॉर्ट टर्म जो भी बैंक से लोन या पैसा लेता है शॉर्ट टर्म में भी ले सकता है और लॉन्ग टर्म में भी
समझ नहीं आ रहा है. आप लगता है माइक से बहुत दूर है, बहुत इको हो रही है आपकी आवाज. समझ नहीं आ रहा आप क्या बोल रहे हैं.
मैम माइक से तो
Anybody else wants to tell? Surbi?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can I speak in Hindi?
Any language you are comfortable with. Yeah.
Debt is some debt में short term and long term में means हम लोन दे सकते हैं किसी को भी कुछ छोटे पीरियड के लिए और या फिर कुछ ज्यादा लंबे पीरियड के लिए. एंड इक्विटी में हम शेयर्स मतलब किसी भी या फिर ग्रुप के साथ या फिर कोई दो लोग पार्टनरशिप में एक बिजनेस स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं.
करेक्ट. शेयर का मतलब है आपकी पार्टनरशिप है, उसमें प्रॉफिट होगा या लॉस होगा आपको सब शेयर करना पड़ेगा. और डेट का मतलब है लोन, कि आपने उधार दिया है, तो जब आप उधार देंगे तो आपको इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा. तो अगर कोई भी बिजनेस शुरू करना है तो आप दो तरीके से कर सकते हैं. या तो आप किसी को एज अ पार्टनर ले सकते हैं जो कि इक्वल प्रॉफिट और लॉस झेलेगा, या फिर आप उधार ले सकते हैं. तो वो कंपनीज के साथ भी है ना. फर्म्स जो हमने देखा, फर्म्स या कॉर्पोरेट जो नया बिजनेस शुरू करना चाहते हैं, उनके पास ये दो तरीके हैं, या तो वो लोन ले सकते हैं या फिर वो इक्विटी इशू कर सकते हैं. और फाइनेंशियल इंटरमीडिएरीज जो हमारे फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, बैंक्स हैं, NBFC हैं, म्यूचुअल फंड्स हैं, जो हमारे जिनको हम फाइनेंशियल इंटरमीडिएरीज कहते हैं, they help them to match the demand of funds with supply of funds. तो कुछ लोग होंगे जिनके पास पैसा जो है थोड़े दिन के लिए होगा, लाइक कुछ दिन के लिए इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं, और कुछ होगा जिनके जो लोग ज्यादा देर के लिए इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं. तो द फाइनेंशियल इंटरमीडिएरीज will help the companies do it. Okay, so the financial intermediaries match the demand for funds with the supply of funds, and they fuel economic growth by allocating capital to create jobs, infrastructure and ideas. तो यही हम लोग देख रहे थे कि the banks and the financial institutions have a very very important role to play in the development of the country, because when the funds are the capital is generated, it helps in creation of job, infrastructure and ideas. So basically there are three ways of capital generation. One is taking a loan from the bank, other is taking a loan from the general public, and third is raising the capital by issue of shares. Right? So one way to take advantage of investment opportunities to save a portion of your current income. So this is for people who are in surplus. So we can take advantage of investment opportunities to save a portion of your current income and use these savings to invest. This is true for individual as well as business. The other way is to borrow. The borrowing could be from bank, or you could approach the financial market or to issue securities. The investment so done thus results in capital formation. So are all of you clear on what capital formation means? Capital formation का क्या मतलब है? What does it mean? Can somebody explain to me in his or her own words, what does capital formation mean?
Capital formation is a process in which
You are not audible.
hello ma'am. Now the voice
Maybe
is
you need
clear.
to speak a little closer to the mic.
Hello.
Yeah.
Ma'am. Yes ma'am. Ma'am, capital formation is a process according to me, and in this process capital is used to maximize the profit and profit that will to achieve the goals, the objectives of the organization.
Correct. So capital formation is actually generating money to achieve the objective of the company. So company wants to grow, company wants to start a new business. For that, money is required. So capital formation is a process of getting that money. What are the ways of capital formation? What are the different ways we've seen of capital formation?
Through debt and the second one is equity.
Yeah, debt, equity. So debt can be through two ways. Debt can be through the banks. You can raise a debt through the bank, or you can raise through the general public. So debt can be raised in two ways. So it can be from the banks or from the general public to issue security. And so it involves both. It involves people who are in surplus who will provide the capital, and it will also involve the people who are in deficit who will actually use this capital.
I have one query, one question.
Yes, please ask.
Ma'am, in debts, there are debts is categorized into two categories: short term and long term. Can you?
Yeah. So debt is classified as short term and long term. Because of the requirement of the investor as well as the company which is requiring that. So the company might have a project which requires less amount of time to complete, and they can generate profit, and so they will return the debt. If they're generating profit, they will return the debt. So they don't need it for a longer time. They will have a short-term debt. On the other hand, you might have a projects which require this to be invested for a longer time, because 4 साल का तो gestation period ही है आपका. In that case, obviously the company will raise a long-term debt. So it depends on the requirement of the company. They might need some money for short term, or they might need the money for long term. और ऐसे इन्वेस्टर्स का भी होता है. तो मैंने जो पैसा सेव किया है क्योंकि मुझे घर खरीदना है, पर मुझे अभी थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा क्योंकि मुझे और पैसा इकट्ठा करना है. बट जो पैसा मैंने इकट्ठा किया है, I don't want it to lie idle. I want to invest it for 2 years, because in 2 years I will be able to save more money to buy that house. So what I will do, I do not want this thing. I do not want to invest for a very long time. I will invest only for short term. So that's why both short term and long term securities are available in the market, because different kind of customers and different kind of investors will have different requirements. Right? Understood? Clear hai? Now, this is one thing, whether to invest or whether to spend. So, when we have money, this is one dilemma we go through. Should we spend or should we save? Right? So, but we know the more we save, the better it would be for us to generate money in future. And we can save only that amount which is left after consumption. So current consumption, there's a direct relationship between, or rather you can say indirect relationship between current consumption and future investment. The more we consume, the lesser we will be able to save. And the other, the reverse is also true. The more the less we consume, the more we will be able to save. Right? So there's a relationship between current consumption and future investment. So saving is the extent to which current consumption is sacrificed so that money can be made available for future capital formation. So 3 stages of capital formation. First is to create saving, then excess saving, and then invest the saving. So economy with higher saving rate obviously will generate more investment. So this is also one reason the difference in India and US. In India, we are in a habit of saving more. Okay, so that gives us opportunity for investment, right? Whereas in the US, people not in the habit of saving, and therefore they don't invest too much, right? So economics with high saving rate can generate investments needed for fresh capital formation faster than economics economies with low rate of saving. The pace of new capital formation is directly linked to the saving. So more people save, more they will be able to invest, and therefore more will be the capital formation. So if you can see, there's an indirect relationship between saving rate and investment. The more the saving, the more will be the investment. So higher the rate of capital formation, higher will be the pace of economic growth. So more investment would mean more growth. Now, can somebody explain this? How more capital formation will result in more growth? क्यों अगर ज्यादा capital formation होगा तो growth क्यों ज्यादा होगी? या growth कैसे ज्यादा होगी?
मैम कैपिटल फॉर्मेशन ज्यादा होगा, सो उससे इंटरडिपेंडेंट है, इंटरलिंक्ड है इकोनॉमी में। जो जितनी भी चीजें हैं वो कंज्यूमर
Correct.
एक्सटेंड करेंगे। उसके बाद
Your voice is breaking. आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है.
यस मैम। सो मैम इंटरडिपेंडेंट इंटरलिंक्ड है चीजें, सो कैपिटल फॉर्मेशन बढ़ेगा तो एक्सपेंडिचर, फिर एक्सपेंडिचर भी इंक्रीज होगा, देन उसके बाद कंजम्पशन बढ़ेगा, देन अगेन फिर उसके बाद प्रोडक्शन बढ़ेगा। सो इट इज अ साइकिल ऑफ ऑल द
Correct. So it's a cycle. So more people save, more will be the investment. More investment is done, more increase in the business, more employment generation. More people are employed, more they will spend. So it is all interrelated. Right. And that happens through a financial system. So to define, you can define the financial system as a organized way to move money from people who are in surplus to people who are in deficit. So that is what financial system basically means. Whose mic is on? Please अपना mic बंद कर दीजिए. Deepak and Swati, you're getting some kind of voices from the background. Okay. So financial system is the way to get the people in deficit and the people in surplus at one page. Financial system is the system which enables the exchange of funds between lenders and borrowers. So a financial system is organized and regulated structure where exchange of funds take place between the borrower and the lender. And financial system consists of many people. So who do you think would be the part of financial system, or who all will be the constituents of the financial system? कौन कौन होगा financial system में? तो पहले चीज है, what does the financial system do? What does the financial system do? That is the first question. करता क्या है financial system का काम क्या है? What is the function of the financial system? Yeah.
Ma'am, a financial system is a set of institutions such as banks, insurance companies.
Right. What does it do? What is the function of it?
Ma'am, it permits the exchange of funds.
Yeah. So it acts as a intermediary between the borrower and the lender.
Lenders.
Right? तो
yes, ma'am.
ये तीन लोग तो हो गए, एक borrower, financial system में एक borrower होगा, एक lender होगा और एक financial intermediary होगा, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. So financial system में obviously the government will also be a part of this. So and financial system, it enables, and there are different kind of financial intermediaries, and they are all the part of the financial system. So financial system, as we have understood, is the system that gets together the financial participants, the market, products and services. तो अभी फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम में पार्टिसिपेंट्स होंगे. पार्टिसिपेंट्स विल बी बोथ लेंडर एंड बोरोवर. Then there can be different kind of financial products, because financial products can be shares, equity. So there are different kind of financial products, and there are different markets for buying and selling those products. Then you have various products and services. So financial system consists of the participants, the lender and the borrowers, that means the markets, the products and the services.
Yes, ma'am.
Then the financial system can also be classified based on geographical classification, which can be regional, domestic and international. Now with the use of technology, the boundaries are closing. So in India, for example, you don't have many regional financial systems, and international also is coming closer. So we've seen financial system plays a very important role in the growth of economy by influencing economic performance and economic welfare. So they are the channel, they predominantly channel funds between lenders and borrowers, which encourage the movement of funds in an economy. Now, this is achieved by financial infrastructure in which entities with funds allocate those funds to those who have potentially more productive ways to invest. So we have seen in economy, you will have people who are in surplus of money, जिनके पास पैसा है, और वैसे लोग जिनको पैसा चाहिए for more productive use. The financial system brings them together. The financial system brings people who are in capital surplus and capital deficit through issue of various instruments. वो instruments क्या हो सकते हैं? क्या हो सकते हैं financial instruments? अभी तक हमने दो देखे हैं. What are different financial instruments which can be issued in the financial markets? अभी तक हमने दो देखे हैं ना? What are the products which enable capital formation? क्या products हैं? Debt and equity, right? So these are the financial instruments. So financial market infrastructure that is resilient and effective has many benefits. So we have seen the financial system enables capital formation. So they enable the stability of the financial system, reduce transaction costs in the economy, promote the efficient use of financial resources. So अगर किसी के पास ऐसे ही पैसा पड़ा हुआ है, तो we know it is unproductive. It is not earning any kind of return. So financial markets promote financial efficient use of financial resources. They improve financial market liquidity and facilitate the control of monetary policy. So we're going to learn more about monetary policy when we come to it. But monetary policy basically means the movement, the supply of money in the market. So we're going to learn more about it a little later. But basically, to look at the function of the financial market, they improve financial liquidity and facilitate the conduct of monetary policy. A goal of the financial system is obviously growth of the economy, because economy agar grow karegi, so there would be a comprehensive growth. Economy grow karegi, employment create hoga, people will earn money. When people earn money, they will again spend it. right? So that is the function of the financial system. So primary goal of financial system is accelerated growth of the economy. So financial system help in saving, mobilization, investment, and national growth. Right. So again, somebody explain to me how this will help. What does saving, mobilization mean? What does saving, mobilization mean? Hello. सेविंग मोबिलाइजेशन का क्या मतलब है? Speak up, please. Yeah.
जो हम अपनी मनी सेफली रख सकें.
Okay. बट सेफ रखेंगे तो रिटर्न नहीं मिलेगा ना. अगर आप अपने बैंक अकाउंट में पैसा रखोगे सिर्फ तो आपको रिटर्न कहाँ मिलेगा? मोबिलाइजेशन का क्या मतलब है? Mobilization is trying to generate more return for your saving. Saving
हाँ जी मैम वही.
right? So yeah. So turn saving into investment. So that is what is the difference between investment and saving? आप सेव कर रहे हो तो आपका पैसा सेफ है, but actually it is not earning anything else extra for you. Investment is when your money can earn more money for you. That is what investment means. Right, and obviously it will have an effect on the national growth. How will affect the national growth? How saving, mobilization, and investment affect the national growth? कैसे affect होगा? अभी इतनी देर से हम वही बात कर रहे हैं. सेविंग, मोबिलाइजेशन और इन्वेस्टमेंट से
लोग ज्यादा सेविंग से इन्वेस्टमेंट की तरफ ज्यादा होंगी. सो जो फर्म्स ज्यादा एस्टेब्लिश होंगी एंड it goes like this and national growth, then ultimately हमारा जो कंट्री है, इकोनॉमी है, वो ग्रो करेगी.
करेक्ट. सो जब ज्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट होगा, बिजनेसेस फॉर्म होंगे, उससे उससे
GDP will increase.
हाँ, obviously उससे एम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ेगा, तो people will spend more. When people will spend more, then obviously more industries have to be formed, and that will result into better in the national growth. So financial system has a very, very important role to play in the national growth. So to conclude what we have covered till now, we have seen that capital is one of the most important factors of production. However, similar to other factors of production, capital too is has limited availability. The capital combines the various factors of production, which is land, labor, and capital, to provide the factors of income, which is wage, rent, and salary. So it brings the financial system brings the other factors together and thus kickstart the economic activity. While one part of the economy requires capital, there might be other parts of the economy which might have surplus capital in form of savings. So we've seen, the financial system plays a very important role in mobilizing that. So the financial system gets together the other, gets to, the people who are in surplus and people who are in deficit. So one part of the economy requires capital. There might be other parts of the economy which might have surplus capital to form the saving, and the financial system brings them all together. This is the flow chart. So we've seen this already. So capital has to flow from, for development, obviously the capital has to flow from where it is surplus to where it is needed. Banks, which form the part of financial system in an economy, are important channels in facilitating this flow of money from one place to another. Capital formation happens by way of identifying an investment opportunity and investing in the same by way of safe funds or borrowed funds. Okay, so let us see how much we have understood. So what is the relationship of current consumption and future capital formation? Direct or inversely? If your current consumption is high, what will be your future capital formation, high or low?
The answer is second, inversely proportional.
Correct. What does it mean?
It means that if you consume, we consume more, the investment will decrease.
Correct.
And
Correct.
if the consumption is more, now the investment will, the consumption less, investment.
Correct. Correct. Right. So consumption and future capital formation are inversely proportional. More is the consumption, less would be the saving. Simple है ना? It's common sense. मेरी फिक्स्ड इनकम है, जितना मैं स्पेंड करूंगी, जितना बचे, उसके बाद जो बचेगा, only that I can save. The more I spend, the lesser money I would be left to save. So they are inversely proportional. Current consumption and future capital formation are inversely proportional. That means higher the current consumption, lesser would be the future capital formation. So just to recap what we have seen in the class today, we've seen capital formation is that activity whereby capital available in one part of the economy is mobilized and invested to generate production capability and employment opportunity in other part of the economy. The ability to generate fresh capital is linked to the ability to sacrifice current consumption and save a part of current income for future investments. And banks play a very crucial role in channelizing these funds between lenders and borrowers to enable capital formation. Investors looking for capital may either borrow privately from banks or access capital market by way of issuing securities. So what are the two kind of securities companies can issue? Two types of securities we have seen. What are those two types of securities which the company can issue?
Long term and short term.
No. Debt and equity.
Debt.
So debt can be short term as well, but two kind of securities which can be issued in the security markets are debt and equity. Okay, so I think I will not start with a new topic. So this is for today. So actionables for you people. Talk to your counselors to ask about your LMS, because you will be able to go through it again only when you have LMS. That is one. Second thing is, I would expect all of you to sit with your straight back and not lie down and listen to the session like a sermon. तो प्रवचन की तरह नहीं सुनना है सेशन आपको. प्लीज अगर हो सके आपके लिए कंफर्टेबल हो या पॉसिबल हो तो कुर्सी मेज पे बैठ के पढ़े. आप स्कूल जाते थे तो भी तो कुर्सी मेज पे बैठ के पढ़ते थे ना, तो कोई रीजन नहीं होगा कि कुर्सी मेज पे लोग पढ़ते हैं, राइट? तो कुर्सी मेज पे बैठ के पढ़े. और दूसरी चीज है, प्लीज कीप अ पेन एंड पेपर सो दैट यू मेक नोट्स. इट विल नॉट बी अ वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम फॉर यू. You have paid so much of money, so you should get something out of it. और सीखने के लिए आपको थोड़ा सा प्रोएक्टिव होना पड़ेगा. तो पेन और पेपर लेके बैठे, स्ट्रेट बैठे, नोट्स बनाए, क्वेश्चन पूछे. ओके, which will help you to learn. अच्छा, tomorrow or day after tomorrow we have a class. But day after tomorrow when you have a class, we will have an aptitude class जिसमें हम कुछ अपने मैथमेटिकल कॉन्सेप्ट रिवाइज करेंगे. मैं सीख रहे हैं नहीं बोलेंगे, बिकॉज these things you have already learned in your school. We are just going to revise. Okay, so I again expect you to sit with a pen and paper. So obviously
Okay, ma'am.
आप जब भी मैथ्स करते हैं तो आप mentally नहीं कर पाते हैं. We need pen and paper to do math. So I will expect all of you to sit with a pen and paper day after tomorrow, because we are going to do aptitude. Okay, so we still have a couple of minutes. अगर आपके कोई questions हैं, आपको कुछ समझ नहीं आया है, we can talk about it.
Ma'am, what is LMS?
LMS is learning management system. तो ये सब जो हम presentation देख रहे हैं वो सब LMS में है. तो जब आपका फीस का सब हो जाता है तो आपका LMS का एक ID बनता है जिससे you can access this study material. तो ये आपका एक आईडी समझ लीजिए, आईडी टाइप का आपको बनवाना पड़ेगा. बनवाना मतलब बन जाता है आपका फॉर एक्सेसिंग द स्टडी मटेरियल. Anything else?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay. So we will end the class today, but tomorrow, day after tomorrow, when you're coming, please come with a pen and paper, because we will do maths, and try to sit in with your back erect on a proper chair and table. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Fine, then we will meet on Wednesday. But in the meantime, please talk to your counselors to get your LMS IDs so that you can go through the study material again. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Fine. Chalo, see you on Wednesday. Please revise what you have learned today. Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Bye.